little bit and kind of use strategy to their advantage here in these races. And we're going to be seeing a BCW race 1. Guys, I'm excited. Please give me a hashtag LTA win or a hashtag JPN win in the chat. Tweet this out, hashtag MKWC for all your friends. And gonna be getting into it here. Let's get some hype in the chat going on, guys.
Dude, can you see this? This is just a bomb out the gate on this map with his buddies in top 2. This is just like the easiest. Wait, why would he throw that forward? Am I missing
this perspective. It says you're ready, but it's actually Mike.
Okay. That makes way more sense. I was just like already inting Team Japan seconds into the first race, but it's actually Mike throwing that bomb forward.
It's the comms, man. They're not used to playing together. You know, this is someone just chuck it, and then it's just you're seeing bombs fly. So that's all that it is.
We saw Gomez falling off there as he got target shocked by a TC already on lap 1. So the deadly TS affecting a player in like 6th, 7th place. And it looks like they're bottom 3 for Team Latin America right now. Nact, the only one holding up the fort. I know if this was me, I would get sniped out and it'd be bottom 4. So good Nact that he's in here, kind of holding that top spot and being the only hope for Team Latin America right now.
Right now, we are seeing that Team Latin America, Jaggy is winning the backwards battle there, while Mike's holding a star in 7th. And it's not a bad spot for them to be in if they have dodges. And, you know, Edu isn't really using any items, so it's very possible that he also has a dodge. And if that's, you know, 2 dodges and Gomez in 8th potentially having one as well, if the shock does get obtained by LTA, this could be a huge swing here in the spots.
Yeah, 100% agreeing. We see the pack is still really tight. Nact, I think I saw him in like 4th or 5th place, and there he is. So we see him in 4th. Believe that's going to be a top 3 for now from Team Japan. And, you know, LTA really needs the shock. We need Jaggy to kind of come up big here. And he is winning the bagging battle, so definitely going to be looking for him to spam boxes right now. As we see all of our players holding dodges. I'm not sure how I feel about all these players holding dodges. You know, we do see Jaggy winning the battle. It will pay off. Oh, and 2 greens
people get taken out. Wow. That's huge.
Hitting Uretti and Nact. So, unfortunately, still a top 3 gone for Team Japan right now. And LTA really needs shock and multiple blues for them to get up here because even with the shock dodge, we do see a shock coming out. And the top 3 for Japan might be crumbled right now as we see Mike dodging as well as Edu dodging in a mega, and a red shot coming out from Mike.
Oh my God. Too greedy there.
Unfortunately. Gomez also catching up, so we do see 3 dodges coming from Team LTA, but a mega coming out and gets Mike there. Mine taking him out. You're ready, getting the second.
Still top 2 for Japan.
Top 2 Team Japan and a 3-4 for Team LTA, man. Wow. What
good
a first
start
race
here for Japan. Being able to just control the front the whole time and being able to backspam enough that you can create that separation with your top 3 members where you can mitigate the shock there since Sebas was so far behind, well, in front of Jaggy as he was 9th and Jaggy was 10th. And when you can do that you really do mitigate the shock. For as powerful as it is, on a front-running track such as BCW, you are able to make it so you can control the whole race just with backspam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You know, Japan played that really well. I feel like Latin America kind of relied a little too much on shock there. You know, we see Gomez and Mike, who are kind of the ones who usually we see in the front for Team Latin America. We're in the bottom 3 kind of the whole race, so they did a good job of dodging up and kind of salvaged it a little bit for saving them from that top 3, but you know, could have been a little better maybe if Mike didn't get bumped there. Not sure. We just kind of saw the Japan show in the front though, so hopefully LTA can kind of do something to turn it around here.
Agreed 100% that LTA, you know, it's not like it was a huge loss either, so you know, that is good. They were able to salvage some points there. Mike did make a little bit of a greedy play trying to go inside of, I think it was mine there at the end at the top of the spiral when he had the red, which could have been so good. He really wanted to make sure that he went for first there. But I think if you just red second there, you put him far back, all of your players then will be able to pass him instead of taking a chance at reaching for first. And at that point, you're still going to get probably 2, 3, 5, 6 at worst, which is still a winning race. So I think Mike probably should have opted for the easier and safer play there, but still not a huge loss overall, all things considered from the look of that starting race.
Yeah, definitely pretty salvageable. for Team LTA, but I think Japan is kind of looking really strong here. And Mike doing a good job of spamming his trip trims immediately, as they do need to get up there to kind of break up their rhythm, as we see Japan
good
kind of
Nana's coming out,
nice,
and that
nice.
should give Mike first overall here, and it does. And I think it was a great call to just kind of get to the front, because even on a track that does have a big shortcut like DDR, if you don't have the front presence, it doesn't really matter too much. And that's a very interesting looking green coming out. Oh my goodness.
Cool. Oh, and
Good
Mike
avoidance
also
here from Mike.
avoiding those Nanas. Yeah, you know, I kind of warmed up Mike and Nact before. I played a room like 15 minutes before this war, warming them up with Snipe. So don't want to take the too much credit myself, but unfortunately Japan actually getting back into these top 2-4 spots, and Nact also holding his own. Seeing what is going to happen here, I'm curious to see who has the shock. We see Jackie actually going forward with that Daisy. Blue Shell coming out from Team Japan, going to be holding this for their teammate that's in first place.
And
Curious
this
to see what's going to be used here.
This is really bad for Japan overall. I mean, yes, having the blue is good, but your player now in your ready is dead in 7th, assuming that Jaggy has the shock here since he was moving forward. And that could be really detrimental for him, just because, you know, yes, you want to hold this and you don't want to obviously blue your own teammates, but he's going to just be so far gone. And this is also really bad here for Mike. All mid spots occupied, TC coming out, and this is not looking good for LTA, and off goes your ready.
Getting bumped off there, but we do see his teammates in top 3 by quite a good margin. So going to be needing to see LTA use a shock into boxes here. That's kind of their last hope, but it's looking to be a pretty detrimental race for Team LTA, as Nact is the only one up there. Can't really see where he's at, but we see a build dodge from Edu at the line, but I don't think it really
was,
takes
and
him
that
anywhere.
was the Team Japan shock. So
wow.
really strong race there.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw Jaggy spin out on the mini map, so definitely Team Japan shock there. And I mean, that's, if you're Japan right now, you're feeling pretty good. You're in the driver's seat. You won the first race after, you know, not getting shocked by 13 points. Now you get shocked and you were able to maintain your top 3 anyway. Just really strong start.
Absolutely brutal.
Wow. LTA, man. Just kind of, it's kind of what I said before. Kind of what I predicted, that LTA was, or Japan was kind of just looking to run in the front. And, you know, they're doing a perfect job of that in these races, you know. LTA trying to kind of more rely on items, and it's not really working out, as they're not getting stuff that they need. And their Team Japan is kind of just staying in the front, you know, doing all the tech that they need to do. And it's helping them salvage these really good races for them. So
if you're LTA right now, where do you think you need to go? I see a little bit of miscommunication here just from the track picks of Gomez picking Grumble and the rest picking BC3.
Gomez always does that. He always does not pick with the team. And, you know, when I scrim with him, that is the one thing that maybe pisses all of us off, is that he goes his own little way. But, you know, Grumble also a really good track for the spots. For me personally, if I'm looking at Team Japan, I think they're used to just kind of running in the front the whole time. So what I would do is I would go for luck tracks. I would go for luck tracks that maybe they're not used to, and kind of look for maybe cheese to get us in the front, slash try to win some big races for Team LTA here. So, but we see BC3 kind of its own little cheese track in terms of the shortcut. Can be considered maybe a luck track. Definitely not a running track, as a lot of commotion happens here. Wally, what is your strategy going into this race?
At this point, I don't think that LTA can do anything other than they need to get to the front. They need to disrupt the rhythm that Japan has, because when you have players like Japan's roster, and you look at, you know, some of the other players from other teams, like Thomas and other big T tiers that aren't necessarily used to kind of playing in the pack as much, you're gonna have this situation where if you don't disrupt their rhythm, they're gonna be gone. But if you can kind of get in their face, disrupt their rhythm, force them to take lines that they're not used to, then they're going to be more likely to mess up. They're going to be more likely to hit back spam. And I think that's what LTA needs to do immediately, is get to the front, contest those top spots, and really start just hitting Japan in some form or another, or just forcing them to go wide, slow them down, and kind of put them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely agreed 100%. And we do see Japan in bottom 2 and 5th right now. We see Type, I believe, in 3rd or 2nd. So it's looking like a pretty decent race so far from Team LTA. Gonna see what happens at the cut here, though. Obviously, a big game changer as a lot of time can be saved here. We're gonna see some unblocks, most likely, if somebody did block it. Somebody taking
and a failure from Japan.
Actually. Yeah, and we see
top 3 LTA. This is really good. And Nact should probably slow down here and let Mike take over first with the shroom. And you're ready here, billing up and kind of getting back in the mix here. But again, this is exactly what we were saying. You know, you take over these top spots, and you force them out of their comfort zone a little bit, and force them to have to make a play. And the blue shell right here, Edu didn't let. Wait, did he? I can't actually tell. Did Mike get into first? No,
Mike,
he slowed down. He slowed down. Good timing.
Wow.
Great teamwork there coming out for LTA, but now Mike needs to chain that green so he can get something to block the cut. The cut's gonna be open right now.
Not gonna be able to block it.
Not gonna have an opportunity. I think with this green shell in first, yeah, this shock may swing it. That may be the
Jaggy shock. That was a team LTA shock. I believe it was to TS on the cut, and that's exactly what it was. We still see a top 3 from team LTA. Looking strong right now as they have a huge breakaway. Gomez looking to come back a little bit. I believe he takes. No, it looks like
he failed the shroomless. I think he failed the cut initially and then failed the shroomless after.
I think this is an easy top 2 for LTA. Japan just like couldn't catch up towards the end. The shock just shut down any opportunity to catch up.
And that's the answer they needed. That is exactly the answer that Latin America needed. Cancel out that last race, put it back close to a 13, 15 point deficit, and put yourself in a position where you have a chance. I mean, it's still early. This is only race 3, but I mean, if you start falling more behind, and I think this is kind of where my worries happened with Latin America, is they don't have you in the lineup. So when you look at some of these players, they have the reputation of tilting a little more than other players, or their attitude doesn't, tend to be just serene, and they don't have a kind of a cheerleader in the lineup like, no, we got this, guys, like, let's go, we're fine, don't worry about it, move on. Have that short-term memory. And I think that's something that you are really good at. So with you not in that lineup, I do kind of worry if things start not going LTA's way early, that it would spiral very quickly.
Yeah, no, definitely 100% agree. But Nact himself is actually a very happy-go-lucky kind of guy. So when he's in there, I mean, obviously he's really serious right now because the other 3 are also very serious. So like, he has to maintain kind of his composure in that regard. But I think Nact can also do a good job of calming people down. So definitely relying on him to do that a little bit himself. But Nact actually showing like a very good presence in the front, and doing a really good job of replacing me, as I was doing jack shit in the front, gotta be honest. So Nact actually like coming in and being that presence that they needed, as he is kind of just killing it in the front here. So really happy that we made that switch, and it's definitely working out in our favor, as only down 13 here going into race 4 of GP1, and we have a Moonview Highway pick. Guys, kind of interested to see what you think about this pick with a top 3. I feel like maybe a top 2-4 would have been better, but what do you guys think about this pick with a top 3 side?
I like this with a top 3 better than a top 2-4. You have better options for top 2-4. You have Rainbow Road, you have TF, the big staples that you can really just squeeze out that first turn or that first section and make it nearly impossible for teams to catch up. On this, you can prevent 4th from drafting, and then you get to this boost pad section and it's over. Unless shock happens or someone messes up on their own, you're not going to see people be able to catch back up. And I think with top 3, that was the correct call. Obviously, Type right here running away in first a little bit, and Mike itemless at the moment is not ideal, obviously. But I do think that they're occupying still at least mid spots in some of the top spots. But Japan doing a great job of kind of getting back in, and I don't think that there is any better track out there for them other than this, and someone getting powed off.
So getting target powed off, and we're gonna see, I think, a 2-3-4 right now for Team LTA. I was gonna say, kind of at the beginning of the race, LTA didn't get the start that they hoped while starting top 3, and I think Japan were just able to get a lot of shrooms to catch them up here. Type having 2 fibs, so maybe Mike could get him here, but obviously a lot of room to just kind of avoid reds here on this track at this point. So I think Type is going to be able to maintain his first. Shock red maybe coming out. Oh, unfortunately, you're ready dodging, but Type did get shock redded. But you're ready is going to be taking that first place. I think Type might maintain his second. So a top 2 from Team Japan right now. Unfortunate for Team LTA is Japan was able to get that, but a blue shot coming out, top 3 right now for Japan. Mike maybe being able to do something here, but getting blue on the boost pad is Uretti. Gonna be able to maintain his at least a 4th place right now, so top 2 round. Oh, the bomb!
Oh my god, we had the cutscene at the perfect time!
Perfect time! Unfortunate POV says at the perfect time, maybe Mike can do this bomb! Oh, and not able to get them with the bomb, and a 3-4 for Team LTA, but Japan taking the top 2 here, that would have been insane. That bomb site would have been crazy.
Oh man, that scene switch was so perfect. It was just enough to be like, you know, he's dead. Just gonna move on. We don't need to watch him in his body lay there limp after all that. So just move on, switch POVs. It was great timing. It's still a good race coming out for Japan.
Yeah. We just kind of saw them, you know, the shock really helping there for them. But man, 3, 4, 5, 6 for LTA, so not a
good salvage, not getting the shock. Very good salvage, not getting the shock, and not controlling at least the majority of the front presence there. So 100%. LTA, all things considered, there they held on to that race pretty solidly. So
yeah,
you set yourself up to be in a decent spot going into GP2.
Definitely 100%. I'm going to take a little pee break. You guys go ahead and carry on. Yeah, my bladder's a little full. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, after a ridiculous first 4 races, we have Japan up 130 to 114, a lead by just 16 points. It's not too big. I think that LTA top 3 that they managed to squeeze in was so critical, man, because it felt like Japan was starting to pull away. Like, already the momentum was so in their favor. And I think it's really hard for teams to regroup and strike back like they did. Any big standout adjustments from LTA? I know you said you were kind of commenting on what they needed to do before they started coming back, and then they ended up doing it. So yeah, does anything pop out?
Still the same thing. I mean, the one race that they had successful is the one that they got to the front early and maintained that presence. And that's what they have to do. You can't just hold items like, yes, overall, I think Jaggy is doing a better job of out-bagging, and Sebas has probably gotten 1 or 2 shocks a 9th, but you can't rely on that. You have to get to the front presence, because even if you get shocked and you don't have dodges, if you're controlling the front anyway, that's still so powerful, because you don't allow them to be able to catch up, especially on the tracks that we've seen so far in Moonview and BC Wii, and in this case now Coconut Mall that we're going to. So those are all tracks that, without shock, very little room to catch back up. So I think if LTA spams their items to get to the front immediately and start controlling that front, and again back spamming, I don't think the players from Japan are going to be as accustomed to avoiding constant back spam from coordinated plays from a team like LTA.
Yeah.
I think that's still got to be the play here.
Absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And Mike kind of doing what he can, kind of following what you were saying. Manages to grab a shroom immediately. Akmif also finding himself in first place, it looks like. Mike's going to fight for a box rather than playing for the better line. Unfortunately, the TC doesn't pass. He just hits the green. He's going to hand it off to Gomez. He knows his team has an item probably to protect himself from it, and they can probably just lock another star with, immediately gets another star. So this is an LTA in a lot of the bottom spots right now, but we do know Akmif. Oh, Akmif getting bumped out of his top spot, so this is just top 4 or top 3 for Japan right now.
So yeah, really bad spot here for LTA. I mean, again, like I had said, without shock, that this is a track that, there's not a lot of room to catch back up on, and when you have this break, and especially on a race like this, it looks like Jaggy's pulling away because he has it, but on a race like this where a shock is 50-50, more or less 50-50, it is hard to just rely on something like that. So a good shot coming in. It's got to be from LTA, but not ideal since the players from Japan are on the boost pad section of this track.
I think they needed to use it there, though. They were falling way too far behind, and yep, we see a blue shell coming out, so exactly what they needed on the chain.
And that green is really good. You're ready.
He can't move. That's so unfortunate for him. If he pulled that green out, that wouldn't have happened, but I think he's kind of like a confirmed last now. We're going to see LTA coming up here. We see Mike in 5th place, Nact in 4th. Curious to see who's in first right now, as we see a 2-3 for Japan, and it's tight, so a top 3 for Japan right now, even after the shock coming in end of lap 2. And man, this just goes to show you the running power that Japan has, and how they're able to keep these top spots. I think LTA needs a second shock here, if anything, to keep these top spots. But looking like Japan is actually just looking to run here and finish it off in that top
the
three.
green and 2
My
LTA
oh,
members
no.
got hit, but it does not matter. Oh, you're ready? Does come back and salvages 6.
Top 3 6 for Team Japan. And it is looking grim right now for Team LTA, man. You know, Japan just running. They're just running. They're literally just driving as if it was another day on the TTs, and they're breaking away, just doing that. So I think we just need to see more LTA in the front and kind of pressuring those top spots, because right now I'm not sure if they're getting outplayed. I'm not sure if they're getting maybe lag bumped or something, but they're not looking good right now.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, this is just, again, Japan not having to worry about, you know, backspam from LTA and just able to drive. And when you're able to just drive, when you're, you know, as strong of players as the Japan roster is, you're not gonna get stopped. I mean, LTA is not gonna just magically catch back up to them. I mean, this is the World Cup. This is the best players from each country, and they're not going to be ones that just randomly mess up or that can just easily be caught by driving. So, I mean, you're going to have to use items to get there. So you have to get up to the front immediately when you're getting items in the pack as close. And if you don't, LTA is going to be hung out to dry.
Yeah.
I have to think, thinking about what happened at the beginning of that race, like if you broke it down, I think LTA has an idea of what they need to succeed. Like, they found themselves in top spots at the beginning of that race. It looked like LTA had won 3 for a brief moment. And then Japan just slowly broke down each top spot they had and knocked them out. And then you saw, like, throughout lap 2 and lap 3, when we were watching Reddy's perspective, his lines were just incredible. So they did what they needed to do to knock LTA out of top spots, and then they just free ran the rest of the race. It's actually, like, really, really clean and, like, I would say fundamental play. Honestly, it's like it's kind of cool to watch a team play so textbook.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, we see this. I feel like Japanese players kind of, you know, play that role of just wanting to be in the front, wanting to have clean gameplay. And Mike pulling a golden fifth, but unfortunately gets taken out. That could have been huge. He was definitely trying to stop troll some of Team Japan's members, but unfortunately doesn't pay off, and gonna be looking to take Rock off here to catch him up. You know, Grumble being a really good reset track. You're ready. He has the bill every race, I feel. Every time I see his POV, I feel like he's had his bill. But gonna be looking to hold this as maybe his member can get the shock in 9th. But we see Jaggy going forward. I think he's shrooming, so gonna be looking to be spamming boxes in 9th, as Sebastian did beat him back there. So Jaggy now going back, kind of, I feel like it's a little bit of a mistake. I feel like he should kind of be staying at 1 box and spamming boxes in 9th, because that's exactly what Sebastian's doing. Maybe Sebastian already has it. This could be detrimental for Team LTA right now if they have shock.
I don't mind this play at all, actually. I mean, you still see Sebastian going backwards. He just jumped off. He's really only going to get 1 more chance at a box there before he's getting caught again and has to go back further. So if he does pull the shock here, he's not really in a great spot regardless. And you see him jump off. He probably just got the bill, but didn't make it back farther. So he's just jumping off again. And right now, I mean, the bagging is close. So Jaggy's right there, right in the mix with Sebastian. At this point, you know, you're not a lot of time left for shock, and this could very well be a shockless race. And
we do see a the Team Japan member, whoever's in first, is just gone. I don't think there's
no, it's LTA in first.
Mike holding this blue. Yeah, definitely an LTA member in first, actually. Thank you.
He's gonna have a clean opportunity to use it then. Oh no, the shock's gonna come out, so not quite. But
Nat got TS in first there. He was so gone. Yeah, I thought he was so gone, and he gets TS in the littlest of cracks. And because of that, you're already able to dodge the shock in a bill, and it takes him to first. And I believe that was maybe a top 2 for Team Japan. I can't believe.
I gotta be honest, dude. If that was planned, if that TS was planned, that is so difficult to do, especially on this type of like net and lag, because like it's hard to judge exactly where Nact was gonna be for a TS to come in on such a small section of the course. And for them to make that happen on the last turn, for Reddy to dodge with a bill that he held the entire race, and for Mike to hold the blue and have it not pay off in any capacity, that is an unbelievable race for Japan.
I can't believe that. I don't think that target shock was planned. I think it is literally so hard to play in that TS. Maybe they were just like, oh, we're gonna dodge him in the cut, and coincidentally, we TS Nact in the process. But kind of seeing Nact, the only one from LTA in the front, and like I said before, the sub paying off, but unfortunate target shock there on Nact. As I honestly thought he was getting first. Like, no matter what happened, I was like, this guy is getting first. But you're ready, dodging the shock in the bill in fourth, and also just getting TS Nact. Unfortunate for Team LTA, and we see a top 2 from Japan coming out. As you said, as we've all said before, really just strong showing from Japan overall. And these LTA guys need to just kind of get their head in the games and reset here, refocus, and kind of shake it off. They need to shake off the mistakes that they're making and look to get in the front here, as we've been saying before.
One thing I really like about Team Japan's shock there is Uretti was in the bill early. When he was in fourth at lap 3, he knew how far his bill was going to take him. It was always going to take him as far as it could. There was never going to be an early drop off until he hits first. But they used the shock towards the end of the bill, so he gets maximum time in the bill without hitting first, and then guarantees that he's got the longest time while being regular size from dodging the shock, while everyone else is small, confirming the most time that he could gain on Nact, which ended up paying off. So really smart shock usage there coming out for Japan.
Definitely. And we saw like fourth players from Japan also take cut and did not spin out when shock came. And he was in the middle of the lava. So to me, that appeared that they took star cut and actually just dodged in midair and were able to take cut to get that top 2. So really well played by Japan. They're executing perfectly right now. And looking to see if LTA can come back here on Mushroom Gorge, which is kind of like a reset track. And Mike getting a perfect item here as Triple Shrooms will allow him to take the cut here. Gomez also going for cut, taking it perfectly. And, this track, I would honestly consider it a luck track because the cut saves you like 3 or 4 seconds. It's honestly ridiculous how much the cut can save you and how clutch it can be at the end of races.
I have no idea how Uretti survived those greens. That's some Matrix style dodging right there, just weaving in between them.
On the stream, that's insane. I can't.
Oh my goodness.
I can't believe he just went like. I don't know how he even get green. I agree 100% there, but looking to see what LTA can do here as we see Gomez still in first, gonna be taking cut again, and Mike as well. So a top 2 break right now for LTA possibly. We see Jaggy in 9th, but the Japanese bagger Seabass just fell off. So Jaggy actually going to be in last here and maybe gets the shock here. Would honestly save their race if top 2 could do cut again, because I believe Mike and Gomez both have one more shroom in that top 2.
Yeah,
Jaggy just jumping off there. This is scary. Sebas is spamming boxes in 9th because at this point Jaggy should not have gone back any farther, I don't think. But Sebas just jumped off, so this is going to be a shockless race most likely.
Yeah, and we're going to see Mike and Gomez going to finish in that top 2, I believe. And we're going to see a 3-4 from Japan and a 5th from Evu, I believe. So a top 2-5 for Team LTA. Pretty good race. Something they need to come back, but I think they kind of need bigger here going into race 8. So good race overall from Team LTA, but maybe need to start taking some bigger risks in order to kind of up that score a little bit.
I think it comes down to kind of your mentality here is, do you think that down 50 on race 7 was enough time for you to say, let's go for it? Or do you think that it's better to say, let's start just figuring this out, win races, and play for a 3-match W?
I feel like they still have a chance to come back. In MKE, you're never out of it, I would say. They were down like you said, 50, I believe, or yeah.
Yeah, it was 48, I think, was the deficit
48?
before the start of that race. And they, they had a good race here, so like it does cut into it. I think my whole perspective on that matter is when you have something that if you try all these risks and take all these risks and you still lose in a best of 3, because like best of 3s are very different than just a best of 1. I mean, if it's a best of 1, you wing it and you try everything you can to win.
Right.
But when it's a best of 3, if you throw all this stuff to the side and just play for the 1 win, you don't learn anything. That didn't work. But if you meticulously look at each race and dissect it and say, on front running types courses, you know, we can hit them more with backspam. If we get to the front on luck style courses, we can kind of play the mid pack more and be all right still and take the shortcuts and be successful. And you can start piecing those things together to actually pull out a W. Whereas Japan has like a really solid game plan. They haven't had a change yet of just run and we're gonna win. Definitely. And if you don't disrupt that, you know, Japan will run away with this and they will continue to do a good job there. So I think, you know, that's kind of the balance that you're looking for if you're LTA is what's more important here, trying to do whatever you can to get this first match win, or play for a long win and kind of not forfeit this one away, but let's find things that are going to be successful for us long term. So even if we don't come back and win this, we still have a game plan moving forward to combat the front running power of Japan.
Right. I 100% agree. I feel like it's kind of hard to, just in MKOE in general, how it's so hectic and everything can change just around every corner. I feel like it's hard to kind of maintain a game plan, you know? People just kind of adapt to their situations. As we said before, there's no like set roles in the game except for baggers. It's more like, can somebody adapt to the situation when they can? But now we're going on Maple Treeway. Definitely an LTA pick, as we usually love to pick this track when we're top spots, no matter what it is. If it's like top 2-5 like it was that race, we'll pick it. If it's 1-3, we'll pick it. MT is a really strong track. Usually we see Gomez in the front on MT. Gomez loves to run this track. Usually does not make mistakes in the front, but we catch him actually in 8th place right now. So Mike, kind of that first place here, and it's exactly what they need. You know, we said before, are you ready with another Bill in 8th? This man is Billman. His name should be Bill instead of you ready. JPN Bill, I think, is what his name should be changed to. But he's falling really far behind. Possibly a cannon dash coming from Japan right now, but I don't think you're ready will get a good spot if he just holds his Bill here. So gonna be looking for LTA to kind of actually do the outrunning here. But Type taking over first place, taking over Mike here, and gonna see what's gonna happen here if a shock is available. We do see Jackie going forward, so I believe LTA does have a shock.
The Bill got used as well, so Reddy's going to be out of that, and that's not going to be on the table for anybody anymore. I can't believe with Mike and the lead that he had, like, Types or honestly whoever else in Japan, they always find a way to claw themselves back into a top position.
Yeah.
And if shock is in their possession right now, this race is like pretty much wrapped up. Mike just like ended up conceding first. He's going to be able to lock down second. But it looked like, based off of who's finishing right now, Japan also got 2 like decently high mid spots as well. Just a
bottom 2 for Japan here.
Yeah, I think it's like a 2-3-5-6 or a 2-4-5-6 for Team LTA. So I think it's actually a winning race for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're totally right. I think their front presence really saved them there. Like the top couple players on Japan found themselves in a really good situation at the end. Just with maybe people at the back hanging on to dodges for too long, relying on their bagger to pull the shock, and it not really panning out. Mm-hmm. Kind of a quieter race in comparison to all the others. Like we just kind of watch people stay mostly in the spots they started in, with a small adjustments over the course of the race. Type dropping 52 that GP.
He was pissed. He was pissed. He was like, you know, I'm gonna score huge here, and yeah, I don't know what happened there, because Mike, we saw in first the whole race. I'm not sure if he got outlined by Type, but we just kind of saw Type passing Mike there, and able to get that first, which is huge for Japan. Kind of salvages them a lot more spots, as we could have seen a 1-4-5-6 from LTA, but instead we saw a 2-4-5-6, which I'm pretty sure is still a winning race, but it could have been a lot better for Team LTA.
I think Mike was much too conservative with his items there. He wasn't being aggressive in back spamming, and he was so focused on just making sure that he doesn't get redded that he ended up getting overtaken anyway. And I think Type was able to take the cut on 2 different laps to catch him. But even still, just you have to start back spamming. Again, you have to get them out of their comfort zone, because they're faster. The Japan players are faster than the LTA players, and so LTA players have to play smarter, and if they don't, like, Japan's going to overrun them. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
Exactly. And, you know, going into this GP3, you know, we see LTA kind of being in the front a lot more than they were before. But we still see Japan just playing really well from the front, you know. Again, just that last race, for example, Type taking over first place out of nowhere. I don't really know where he came from. I don't know if he shrimmed up. I don't know if he just outlined Mike. But I think you're right. I think Mike was playing a little too conservatively, and I think LTA kind of needs to start taking bigger risks if they want to be winning this match here. So, gonna be seeing DK Mountain here. Good spot, a good track for top spots. I agree with this track from Japan. I think it's well, actually, what were they? Sorry, 1-3, I believe.
1-3, yeah, it's alternating spots since it's the start of the GP. I actually don't like this pick from Japan personally, because second player gets the best alignment here, which can easily overtake first. Obviously, I don't know how it'll function with connections, but typically second place can overrun him. And look, Gomez has already taken over first, just like that, getting the cannon.
Okay, Gomi, I see you. That man just wants to be up there, but LTA, it's kind of a preference of theirs as well to run this track. So. But we can see Japan also pressuring in that 2-3-4 zone. But Gomez, kind of a hard player to take out of the top. So looking to see if he is able to keep this. And if a shot can come into play, we do see Jaggy beating Seabass by quite a lot. Maybe we'll be able to touch a box at 30. And able to get, we see Seabass falling off. So actually, I think he had the bill. And we're going to see Jaggy getting a free box in 10th. Maybe getting the shock here. And Gomez still looking to keep his top spot. Playing really well. Yeah, Japan has this 2-3-4 though, pressuring him quite a lot. So another Sherman second for Uretti. Man, we've seen Uretti's gotten a lot of good items here in this war. So
did you guys see the angle that Reddy took the cut at?
I did not.
Yes. It was
like the most
crazy.
absurd Flame Runner cut I've ever seen. Blue came late in the cannon, by the way, so it's gonna make it to type, I believe. It's just gonna take a bit longer. Oh, it already got Gomi?
Yeah, Gomez is out of there as he got blue shelled. So top 2-4, smooth right now for Team Japan. And you know, LTA looking to catch up here. We do see.
Oh, Noct comes back onto the screen. I was a little worried they lost their only top spot. At this point, you just kind of like run. Hold blue, and then the job of the top 2 on or 1-3 on Japan's side is just to knocked out of that top spot. See if you can lock down yet another top 3.
This is sad for LTA because we do see Reddy having that blue shell, so no chance of them getting it to catch up. We see Mike and Omega. Would love to see a shot come out here, but I believe both baggers are still sitting out the set, so I don't think a shock is actually going to come into play here. And LTA does need it, though. They need to go for it. We see Sebastian actually going forward, so I think Team Japan has the shock. Mike, unfortunately, failing a little bit. Eru in a mega, but don't think we're going to see a shot. And a bomb coming out for Team Japan. We're going to see a 2-3-4-5 for Team LTA. I don't know how they turned that around, but a bomb coming out and getting 2 Team Japan members, causing a Team LTA race win by quite a bit. So, impressive stuff. We honestly thought that Team LTA was going to be down, and I don't know how they pulled 2-5 there. That bomb clutching it out for Team LTA.
I wish I could see what happened to mine there, because he was in a top spot and just all of a sudden dropped all the way back to 5th or 6th right next to Mike, and we saw him show up on his screen. And at that point, you know, then all of your members are grouped and all you're having is first place, and while you're holding blue shell, that's great, you're not going to lose first. Everyone else is gone. And with no shock and holding blue, you're not going to be able to see Uretti be able to actually do anything other than just hold on for dear life.
Definitely. Yeah.
So really sad to see mine dropping that far, but a good race for LTA. They're still in the mix. I mean, they were down 36 at the start of that race, so really not a bad spot there.
Definitely.
What is that, like a 9-point win? 9-point win, so minus 23, I think.
Yeah, I believe it's a minus 23 for Team LTA. Definitely still in this. And exciting stuff. That was a super exciting race. I honestly thought LTA was going to lose that race by quite a bit, but the bomb coming out on mine, as we said before, and that 2-5, you know, we kind of saw Nact that whole race pressuring in the front. We saw Japan at one point, like 1-3-4 surrounding Nact, but was able to keep that top spot and finished off in a 2-3-5. So looking to see what this next race would be. I think RBC would be really good for Team LTA, but unfortunately, a Sherbert land coming out.
I don't even hate this pick for LTA's sake, because again, this is a track that, you know, forces some more mid play, forces like the ability to catch up, and that's something that LTA is needing right now. Being behind, even though they have, you know, more top spots overall, Japan has really struggled with this mid pack play. And because of that, that does open the door a little bit for LTA. If you are winning races, Japan is going to be forced to start going for, you know, tracks like this to give them a chance to get back up into the front easily. But that also opens the door for LTA to also catch back up even afterwards. So LTA is in a good spot to actually just kind of ride this momentum and take it all the way back to give us a really close first match here.
Yeah, we see top 4 kind of breaking away already on this track. Nact kind of getting taken out by Anana there, having to go wide, but Type being kind of the only runner for Japan in these past couple of races. He's the only one that's been up there, kind of carrying the squad, and we see Japan in those bottom 4 spots, and I believe Nact also somehow falling behind. And this POW going to target...
Good POW there for Japan, really kind of slowing down LTA, but I think they could have used it at this pinnacle right here that Gomez and Mike are going over right now for even more effect. It would really give Type that break. It would give the rest of the Japan players the ability to get items and catch back up, because that is the best spot to be able to use it right after that hairpin, using shrooms, goldens, whatever. That's when you really want to use those powerful items to catch back up and really get back into the mix. Because again, this is exactly where we've seen Japan struggle is in this mid pack. Yes, I mean, Type is probably going to extend this and hits Gomez, building that lead even more. But you're not seeing any other Japan players other than Type right now. And mine, really some miscommunication there. You're ready. Falling far behind.
Wow. Okay.
Mine is distraught after that, and I did not see what happened to Type, but Mike is in first, so top 2 coming out for LTA.
Wait,
it's a pack switch here.
I think Type fell off. Types fell off in first place on such a crucial spot. So we see Mike and Gomez in top 2, and Nax in third. Sorry, Mike and Edu in top 2, and also Nax in third. Wait,
is this
top 4 right now for LTA. Oh my God, this POW could be devastating though. As
but that
could target
leaving the stream there is very good for Mike, because now his teammates can pick it up after having to slow down a little bit from the POW. Not top 4 anymore, but still top 3. And I don't know if there's not a shot that they're going to be able to be caught.
Shock, he's going forward. So a top 3 from LTA is what it looks to be. And we see Japan also coming up. A dodge
and
for Nax here.
Top 5. We have the game, boys.
Let's go. Top 3-5 from Team Latin America. Holy, I can't even say
I have to apologize to Team Japan, and namely to Type. I casters cursed the crap out of him there, saying that no one was going to catch him and he's only going to build a bigger lead, and all of a sudden he falls off the track. So my condolences, Team Japan, and to Type. So now we need Japan to be able to do something to maintain the lead, if they even have it anymore. 23 points. I don't think they have it. I'm pretty sure they're now down to LTA.
This is insane that LTA have managed to reclaim the lead. Also, who could guess who Brawley is cheering for right now?
Okay, it was a baby cheer. It was a baby cheer. Baby cheer right there.
No, you're all good. You're all good. It's very understandable. The boys are turning it around. Actually insane for Latin America at the moment, to be honest, because I thought pretty much after the first couple races of GP2, I was like, this one's a wrap. There's no way that they're able to bounce back on this war. They should probably just focus on the next 2, because they're still obviously in it in the overall best of 3 format. But here we are, race 11, 307 to 303, and I stand completely corrected. LTA swinging it back into their favor, looking extremely strong.
So here we're at again. Not good spots for Japan, and they're being forced to pick a reset course. In this case, it's Peach Gardens. I like this pick more. It gives them the opportunity to run it if they're able to get the shock and shrooms early. And TF is coming in for LTA. And again, I actually don't even hate this for Team Japan, because if they can get to the front, again, they're in the situation that LTA was in earlier. You have to spam your items to get to the front. Japan, once they get to the front, tend to do a really good job, other than that last race, of just maintaining these top spots. And if they can get back to the front on a course like this, it is highly likely that they're going to maintain those spots and just be able to run it all the way home. But they're down 4 with 2 races to go, and right now we've gotten almost all the way through the first lap, and LTA is holding at least top 2. I would love to see a back spam communication call up here from Mike. There is not going to be the back spam. So Japan is safe there, because I think that really could have put a hole in Japan running potential there, but instead just running away right now, top 2, not even really looking back, just knowing that his teammates are behind him. And Japan needs something quick, and if Sebas can get this shock, that's going to be massive for Team Japan. But again, this is one of those 50-50 shocks that you can't really rely on, and I don't really see that this is going to turn out that well for Japan.
Yeah, I've kind of said this over and over again. Kind of the beginning of the race kind of determines how it's going to end. And we kind of saw Mike there start out in first place. I believe Gomez may have drafted him or somebody else. And ever since then, they've been able to keep them for the first place spots. And, kind of surprising because we do see Japan being kind of like the stronger running team, like better lines overall, like always with the front presence. But surprisingly, LTA kind of holding their own here. But still no shot coming into play. No blue shell for Mike either, so lucky for Team LTA. Japan definitely needs a blue or something to get Gomez at least out of second and to get Mike out of that first place. So,
someone did just get hit on the minimap, and I don't know who it was, but they're spinning for days back there. We did see Japan having occupying 3 of the top 5 spots, but the shot coming in...
Oh, shot coming... That's a Japan shot.
It's a Japan shock, and it looks like Bill's coming in, and he's going to take over first, it looks like. He's going to get past. He's going to get ready to the Japan's top 2.
Japan top 2. 3, 4, 5, 6 for Team LTA. So unfortunate, man.
But it looked like bottom 2 for Japan, so mitigating the damage there. Great job. Japan does win that race. I think we got a tie ball or 1 point game going into the last race. So
crazy.
1 point ball game.
Crazy. Dude, Mike has to be so mad. He was in first the whole race. Didn't get blued, nothing happened to him, and Japan just reds him on the line.
Stationary items and fibs and bananas, and you know that Japan is going to be driving as fast as possible to make sure that they can catch back up there. Back spam the red room, force them to either go wide and slow them down so you can keep your lead, or communicate with your team and then force Japan into those situations. And not having Mike go for streamless laps 2 or 3. If he had went for it on either of, there was not a banana lap 2, I don't believe. I saw it lap 3, but I don't think that there was anything on the streamless cut lap 2. If Mike takes that streamless cut lap 2, he crosses the line before he gets redded. So little situations like that can add up. If you're just going a little bit too slow, you can get punished. And Japan taking full advantage there.
Definitely. And the chat calling me out right now, saying I'm mad. I'm not even mad. This is a great match that I'm watching right now. I'm actually super excited. This has been so close. And, I feel like Japan, I feel like they were expected to kind of pull away, but LTA kind of holding their own here as well. And really interested to see how this last race is going to play out. Going to see what track gets picked. I'm not sure. I can't read Japanese, unfortunately, so cannot tell the chat what it is just yet.
The pick is LTA's, though. So it is Koopa Cave is a choice for LTA.
Absolutely nuts. We have a 3-point deficit for LTA going into the last race. So pretty much any win other than one that just a 1-point race will get LTA either the victory or the tie. If they get a tie, I have to admit, like in a best of 3 situation, that's like just such a unique thing to happen.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you have the whole of one match riding on a tiebreaker, and that is so stressful where you don't even have, much wiggle room of, if we screw up once, we're pretty much done at that point. And that's a ton of pressure. I mean, yeah, you could say the same thing of if you go into, big hits there coming out. If you have that situation, after, if you're tied after 2 GPs and you go into the final GP, it's still kind of a similar situation. But you've been playing that whole time knowing kind of that situation that you were in. And yeah. After 12 races, you just feel like, okay, this is our mental reset time. Oh. Mike missing the Shroomba here. You're ready with the star in 7th, and I think it was Type that was running in first after getting the star drop there from Sebas.
And honestly, for Japan, I think Type is the man you want at the front right now. And depending on if Japan gets this shock, they do have a lot of players towards the back. The pack is relatively tight. Reddy making a rare mistake, chaining his star to see if he can get something else. I imagine this is more to catch up rather than to dodge right now.
Bad news for Japan. They're 3 of bottom 4, which means that this would be a win for LTA if nothing else changed. And Jaggy is all the way back there too still, with the potential to get the shock. So I don't really... He just spun out, so he probably had Bill. So there's probably not a shock in play unless Sebas has it. And a chain coming in for you ready. Smart. You can't worry about shock. Again, it's one of those 50-50s, but you're only able to get a box once every like 10 seconds. So you have to get up here as fast as you can because your bottom 3 is Japan and your only top spot right now is Type. So you have to spam items and get back up to the front and just falling apart here. A bomb coming out, but Azmac able to squeak by. Yeah. And we're going into the pipe with bottom 3 for Japan still, and Jaggy singing out. I think at this point, if you're Jaggy, you run. Just try to get that 9th place because 1 point can mean so much. And
the shock!
Does Gomez live? I want. Okay, Gomez survived.
Yes,
so
Team
still
Japan before the boxes could be.
And 1-3. Top 2 for Japan. That's game over.
Top 2-4. Unfortunate for Team LTA. Japan pulling that out. Clutch shock by Sebastian right there, man.
So let's look at some takeaways here real quick before we even start getting into that next match. Japan proved that when they get hit by adversity here, they're able to just clutch back up and make some plays that they need to in order to actually use shocks effectively and take a race back. LTA proved that they can just hang with them. Even if once they get to the front once and they get a good race, they can collaborate that into multiple races, even if LTA is getting a reset track, because they're able to also catch back up and they can disrupt Japan a little bit more. So what are you looking for match 2 from LTA? Are you looking at any more adjustments? Are you thinking that they're going to kind of keep the same game plan? What do you think on that, Brawley?
I think they kind of found themselves there in the last couple of races. And, at first they were struggling a little bit, kind of down after GP1. But going into GP2 and 3, they started finding the races they needed. They had people in the front playing really well. And, that's exactly what they need to do. They need that front presence, and that's exactly what they did. They had like 2, 3, 4, a lot of the races with just Type in first up. Type keeping Team Japan's hopes alive a lot of those races. And he's looking to keep doing that for them. But LTA pressuring a lot. I feel like a lot of momentum may swing in LTA's favor because it was a very close match 1. And we do see both teams warmed up now after that first GP. Japan just waking up. So after this first war, Japan finally warmed up, and maybe they're ready to go. Maybe they weren't warmed up in the first match. Maybe they're ready to take it to another level. So we don't even know. But Japan overall played really well that match. And,
so Calvin, we got Brawley's take on the LTA side. Do you think there's going to be any adjustments made from Japan, or do you think that their game plan was solid for the first match?
I actually think Brawley's little slip up there is really funny because it actually speaks to what I think, in that Japan literally has just woken up. Apparently, we were told that most of Team Japan does not wake up until 2 p.m. their time. And this match, given that it was scheduled at 11 a.m. their time, this was a difficult thing to make. And I have a feeling some of the boys might have been a little tired going into this one and just being a little more alert for this next set. I think that'll help them a little bit. I think what Wally pointed out in that, and I think that last race was the perfect example of, you can tell from the way Reddy played it from the back as well as Azmac that at no point in that race did they concede or give up the war. They knew that there was a chance, however small, as long as Seabass ended up getting the shock, that they could find a way back into that race. And I really, really like that, because at that point towards the end, it did kind of look like, oh, well, this one's a wrap. Like, this is a really tough situation to come back from. And Japan is really, really good at just clawing their way back in no matter what. And I think that is the problem that LTA will have to deal with going into the second or potentially third match if they win, is, when they play particularly well, how can they have a solid enough defense at the front in order to keep Japan out of top spots no matter what the track and no matter what the situation? I don't know how they're going to handle that, but we will find out very shortly. We're going to go to a quick break before our second war between Japan and Latin America. We'll see if Latin America is able to take the second match, and if we go to a third, or if Japan will wrap it up 2-0. See you guys in a few minutes. I'll crack my monster.
Wait, one more.
Hurry up.
Got it.
Whoa!
Hey, man. We're live. We are live, man. We got some webcams here today. What's up, guys? It's Brawly, the Brio going in right now with my mans Calvin and Wally. Guys, are you excited right now for this match too?
Absolutely. That first match was awesome. I was so happy to see LTA claw it back, but I actually loved seeing Japan able to handle that adversity, even go into a deficit, and then still pull it back and hold on to the dub. What are your thoughts, Calvin?
Yeah, I was really impressed. I think all around that war really blew away my expectations. I think, for one, I didn't think it would be that close. I thought Japan was going to pull away, and I thought the beginning of the war kind of, showed that. I thought they were just going to play off of their lead at the beginning and keep making it bigger and bigger. LTA playing really well and adapting and pulling back, showing that, they are indeed a strong team that deserves to be this far in the tournament and can defeat Japan. And then Japan at the end of the war just clutching up in the coolest way possible and salvaging what looked like to me an unwinnable race to win. Honestly, all around a very exciting war, probably one of the more exciting wars we've had in the entire tournament, and I'm really excited to see how War 2 and 3 shape up.
Definitely. I'm super excited for this one. Calvin, you're looking really hot in that hat. Love to see it on this stream. Wally, also very sexy, guys. Give it up for the webcams on the stream. We're killing it right now to here. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday night. I know I am. Gonna look you guys straight in the eye. But let's get a hashtag. Give me a hashtag JPN win, hashtag LTA win. Really close first match as we saw Japan taking it by 20 points. Definitely a lot of possibility to make a comeback for Team LTA here. Guys, hope you're having a great Saturday. I know I am. Let's get into it as we're gonna see Maple Treeway coming out for Team LTA in those 1-3-5 spots, going for Maple. And we're going to see RBC coming out for Team Japan. Really good 2-4-6 track.
Really standard picks coming out for both teams here. 1-3, really great for Maple. You can have third hop in the cut, really get a powerful item, and still be up in the front come cannon. RBC obviously had the draft potential of 4th and 6th, being really potent there, being able to disrupt the top 3 spots. So we're going to see some Maple. We're going to
That was actually absolutely hilarious. But going into Maple Treeway, we see Mine already taking over first place out of the cannon here on Maple Treeway. Not what LTA wanted to see happen, as they're looking to kind of run this more than usual. Unfortunate for Mike, not able to get a red here, and Azmac also shrimming up. And it's looking like Japan might be running away with this in top 2 already. As Maple kind of an easy track to break away on.
a little wide on that 5th placement here from Mine, which is a little bit of a flub, and Azmac going a little too slow. That Mine is now taken back over first, it looks like, and Mike's gonna have to do something, and a TC is not what you're looking for. Really bad start here for LTA. He's gonna be able to get into the cut. Maybe he can actually stop and pass it off to someone inside of the cut, but he does pass it to Knack, but does Knack have a dodge? He does not. He was shrooming through the cut.
Unfortunate, as we see Japan breaking away in top 3 right now. It's kind of the same old story we've seen from the old war, as we saw Japan kind of expressing their running power over Team LTA, as in Mine kind of failing a little bit there. Maybe sort of target POW, or maybe just kind of failed it. And Type also getting taken out by Edu here. So we're gonna see Team LTA taking over the top spots, as we see a 1-3 from Mike. And kind of, I don't know, uncharacteristic from Team Japan to give up those top spots.
It looked like Mine was able to get hit, and then Azmac was looking back but hit the banana that was on the second boost pad from lap 1. So this is really good now. What looked like an over race for LTA is now a top 2 with the really solid break. Look at this.
Yeah, this break is ginormous.
Oh, a huge dodge coming out.
Jaggy with the shot.
They want to secure that top 2, but we see 3rd and 4th actually also dodging as well. Curious to see who's in 3rd right now. Possibly Team Japan dodging in a Mega or a Star. So looking to see them maybe catching up. But for now, we're going to see the LTA show as they're in top 2. You know, Japan kind of needs a couple of blues here if they want to catch up to this top 2. But
this is
for now.
I actually hate that shot call. Your top 2 is gone. You don't have to worry about it. Like,
agreed.
You can use a late shock there to catch up the rest of your own teammates and really push that even farther. Your top 2 spots with that sort of break, you don't need them to have any more of a break. Instead, Uretti was going to be in this situation no matter what, right? He used his dodge. He was able to get, you know, safely into cannon after that. So the shock didn't affect him. You're still forcing out the dodge. You're not losing any sort of position value there if you're Team LTA and you hold on to the shock. And then you could potentially shock Uretti after, because all of Team Japan is expecting that shock and they have to use their dodges early. If you can then salvage a couple dodges there in your last 2 racers, you're able to just win that by so much. So I think it was a safe shock because you are kind of securing top 2, but I think they really could have pushed that so much more because they only get bottom 2 out of that after that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think possibly if Gomez and Nak were truly 7-8, I think the shock play may have been to just dodge them in the cannon and have them catch up if none of Japan was in a dodge. But unfortunately, they stick with the safe play. You know, they want to get their top 2 and get a secure first because, you know, top 2 wins races. And that's exactly what they did there. And they were able to salvage that with a top 2 7-8. So really good race from LTA. You know, I thought we were going to see the Japan show because they were just top 3. But I think really good plays coming out from LTA. Maybe a target power or something that was able to get them to catch up and lose some items. We saw Acme taking out 2 of their members with reds. So really well played by LTA to keep those top 2 spots, but maybe we could see a shock being used a little bit better.
Honestly, pretty crazy, by the way. Like, they just went to their comfort pick out the gate, going to MT immediately. Like you said, you guys really like to pick that track. And given that it is such a comfort pick, I think a win by 5 after all that happened that race is just so much less than you would have expected, and so much less than what a good team needs out of that, how you need to start off the war. Because I think when Japan started off the previous one, right, they opened up with like a 20-point win. Continue getting small wins from here.
Yeah, 100% agree. Interesting track coming out as you see the Waluigi Stadium. I'm not sure whose track pick this was.
It was Gomez.
Really?
It was his solo pick.
The typical solo pick coming out from Gomez, but I think this is kind of advantageous for Japan. I think this is mostly like a tech/running track, and I think Japan kind of has the edge over LTA in terms of skill and running. So we're going to see Japan taking over immediately in this top 2. Mike accidentally sniping Eru out of that top spot, so going to be seeing Japan possibly running this. Oh, and Mike getting fib. Really good fib by Asmac there to get Mike off. And it looks like Japan is looking to run away with this as we see a bottom 3 from LTA. Eru the only top spot for them, but I don't even think he's that far up there. So Japan playing really well right now on this this strong running track. So maybe a possible questionable track pick coming out from Team LTA.
Do you really want to call it? I mean, it's definitely not a T pick. This was a Gomez special here, solo picking this, and really just not good positions. It looks like Gomez is up in the top 3, but it looks like he's being pressured from behind right now from Type. So we'll see if he can maintain that. I can't tell if Types, it looks like they are in fact reds, and Gomez is able to hold on, and a TC pull from Mike is horrible, but he does get a blue and he's able to span it. They do need to actually start cycling items, even if you are taking the risk of the TC. You have to start getting Japan out of these top spots, and this is not a huge catch-up course in general because there's only that one spot where you can really stream and catch up, and there's nowhere else. Like you said, this is a technical running track, and Japan is that is their bread and butter, and that is where their advantage lies against LTA, is in these technical tracks that are full of front running potential.
Yeah, we see Seabass going forward as well, so Japan has shock, and Mike getting TS in 7th place, confirming that 8th place. Okay, mine getting TS as well, so maybe not the shock they planned to have, but Mike getting a 7th place, but it looks like it's going to be at least the top 2 for Team Japan, and honestly, just really well played overall by Japan. Like,
I know it's only, it's a 2-point swing here, but that was a really smart play from Mike, knowing that Japan had shock and being cognizant enough to take a look at mine. If mine has a dodge, there's no way that Mike survives that no matter what. And if mine doesn't, that slowdown does give him a chance to just save 2 points for Team LTA, and he does that effectively. So really good play there for Mike. I know it's only 2 points, but we just saw how close the last war was. Those 2 points can go a long way. So really good play there from Mike on an individual level.
Yeah, honestly, definitely. If you think about it, the war like overall score is now 4 points in Japan's favor. And, it would have been 6 without that play. And I think part of becoming a better player is knowing that no matter where you are in the pack, the little extra points you can get matter. Like, this is a cumulative game that counts those things, that values those things. And it's one of the things I really like about it.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. I agree, for sure. And we have 2 interesting tracks here as options. And we are going to see Peach Gardens, which is good for LTA, and the other option there was DDR, which I really liked for Team Japan, and unfortunately we're not going to see it right now, but I would want to see Team Japan, if they get Shrooms, still just kind of move to the front and be able to control their decent Mike.
No! Okay, he gets his batteries back.
Not the worst thing ever. It's Peach Gardens. If this was something else, this would be way worse. Not the worst thing right now overall. He's still in the mix, and this is Peach Gardens, notorious catch-up track. And, oh, you're ready with the back red in 7th.
Man.
Mike definitely not expecting that, because, I mean, who does expect a back red?
Oh,
he gets back green to the face as well. Honestly, not bad at all, though, as we see the pack still really close. Type kind of threatening with these trip reds, most likely trying to get Nact here out of that 5th place, as I'm sure Nact also has a shroom. I'm curious to see who's in front. We don't see Edu right now, or Gomez. We see Gomez actually in 4th place, most likely going to be taken out by a red here. Mike gonna shroom up here and look to take over top. I think top 6 just took the cut, if I'm not mistaken. But we see Edu getting taken out as well. We're going to see, I think, a 1-3 right now for Team Japan. And, man, this race is super close right now. Usually you see the pack kind of spread out on Peach Gardens, but definitely looking to be an interesting finish in this race.
Oh, really wow.
Nice bomb!
Both of them.
Gets Asman.
And I think I just saw a blue. There is a blue in the air going for you, ready. He slows down, and Nact is able to just waltz on by, and this is going to be a top 2 most likely here for LTA. And now the question here is, I think this is Type right now?
Oh, wow.
It looks like he does, and Mike pulls a
Mike
shroom.
as well, clutching out the shroom. You're going to draft Type as well and take over that 1st place, I believe. So Mike in first, kind of clutching it out with that 3rd place shroom. Oh, but we do see Type lagging up a little bit. Not sure if this will play, if this will play a huge part. Could red Type out of this 1st place. Curious to see if he has an item. Oh, Mike, unfortunately misplaying.
He gets hit, and he's going to get hit again.
No, Mike misplaying, and unfortunately, in Japan, mine getting the bill in 8th, and it looks like LTA is going to have a rough race.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no, and yeah, it's looking like a top 3 right now for Team Japan. Gomez actually breaking that up in 3rd place, bumping them at the line, and looks like a top 2 for Team Japan to route it all off.
Top 2-6 it looked like overall there for Team Japan, so a really good race even on a track that was not theirs. So good stuff here from Japan right now.
Japan playing really well. I mean, they ran that whole thing. I think what's his name, Mine definitely had the bill for the brunt of the race, kind of just holding it, and that knowledge enabling Sebastian to just keep going back and get that shock for them. So really well played by Team Japan there, as they finished with a top 2 5-8 actually. And we saw Type kind of up there for the majority of the race, but unfortunately finished in 8th place. And that's kind of how the cookie crumbles on Peach Gardens, right? It can be a luck track, can be a running track, but anything can happen in like the middle to the end of lap 3. So good race for Team Japan, and they're looking to keep this momentum going.
I thought Mike's awareness, like the way he played at the front, was pretty incredible. His awareness to drop while contesting top spots to make sure he got a third place box, increasing the chance of himself getting a shroom and taking first place, and then even though second shroomed with him, immediately getting a draft after to get back into first. Like, he raced that from the front so well, and the tools just weren't there for LTA towards the back to make the race work. And it's really unfortunate because I feel like Mike kind of put it all on the table there, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, a little bit of a flub there at the end, though, really kind of cost them pretty big there, because they could have just locked down 2-3-4 for a while. And yes, the shock was still going to come in, and yes, it was still going to be big for Team Japan, but you have, 6 more seconds in front, and you are going to be getting a much better spot than being all the way back there and last at the end of that shock. So a little bit of a mistake there for Mike. He was being a little bit aggressive, which I do like to see. The attempt coming out to really make sure that you are pressuring Team Japan, and if that red does hit and he's not able to run into the hedge there, that is a top 2 for LTA, which does give their bottom 2 the leeway of stopping at boxes and forcing Team Japan, for the non-bill users, to chain in worse spots overall for item potential there. So really a good chance there for LTA, just did not quite work out, and we're seeing triple shrooms for Mike here in third. As good of a position as you could be in right now, and he takes the rock very cleanly, able to hold on to 2 shrooms at first, and he is set up for success right now.
Like, going hammer now, this is exactly what you want on a track like GB. Trip shroom / golden, kind of the item that you want here. I feel like it's really common to see a POW on lap 2 kind of getting those shrooms out of him. Maybe his teammates are holding it though, or maybe he just hasn't been pulled yet. So Mike looking to take cut again, kind of being that clutch player that LTA needs, that clutch factor, and gonna see if he makes it again 2 for 2, and if he does, he is just gone, man. And he does it perfectly as well. Man is gone in first, does not need a shock dodge or anything to kind of keep this for him. But we do see a lot of actually other players in like 2, 3, 4, 5 taking it as well. So people catching up to him as well. But we see Jaggy going forward. So a possible shock from Team LTA here as Seabass. We see him chasing down Jaggy, unable to get him so far though, as Jaggy able to avoid him.
Definitely has it here.
Yeah, and we're gonna see you ready with a golden in 5th. So LTA maybe opting to TS people on the cut here, and maybe Edu or Gomi are able to dodge in something here. But Mike definitely getting confirmed first.
2, 3, 4.
Yes,
good shot coming in for LTA.
Great shock, as we see a target shot coming on, at least for the 3-4 of Japan. And we're going to see them all back here. A blue shot coming out, but maybe not going to do the damage. I think we might see a top 3
Mike
from LTA.
Was sitting on the line.
We see at least a top 2 from LTA as we see Gomez. Okay, so it's going to be a top 2. A top 2 definitely from LTA. And I think it's a 3, 4, 5, 6 from Team Japan. So Nakt and Edu taking kind of the brunt of the damage here and getting that bottom 2. And we thought we would see LTA maybe a bigger race because of that shock, but unfortunate for them, only able to get that top 2, bottom 2, which that's what win by what, like 5-ish? I'm not even too sure, but not a huge race.
It is a win by 3 to 5 depending on bagger points, and Jaggy getting last means that it's a win by 3 there, 27-32. So
really quick math by Wally there, by the way. Very strong math by
I'm an engineer.
Wally.
The math checks out. You can trust it.
This man knows calculus. He knows thermodynamics. He knows it all. He is a beast on the mathematical standpoint.
Which directly translates to Wally's Mario Kart skill, I might add. I think it obviously plays a critical role in his ability to run and play on his team, so.
Well, I appreciate that. I thought you were to say, yes, he could calculate, but he's still really bad at the game, so it does not matter.
No, the opposite. Well, I think with that first GP down, let me just take a quick look at the score. Japan up just a meager 12 points on LTA's 116. So 128 to 116. A close GP1, neither team pulling away. This is looking about as close as it looked last time. After the first GP, even closer. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out, because I was kind of talking about how, you know, maybe Japan a little more in it, a little more awake than they were for the first one. Also getting a little later for LTA, a little, you know, it gets a little harder to focus the longer and longer you play, especially late in the evening. So I wonder if that'll come into play at all. On the other hand, you know, most Mario Kart players, absolute degenerates when it comes to sleep schedules. So these boys would be up for another 6 hours normally anyway. But we'll see how it works out. We'll see if that comes into a play at all. I'm happy to see it's as close as it is. And, I can't imagine, with both sides playing how well they are right now, I can't imagine either side pulling away.
Yeah.
Ooh, the lone LC pick from Uretti here. I want it.
Give it to me. Damn.
Oh, we're seeing Moonview, which I think is kind of an interesting pick coming out from Team LTA. I mean, 1-3, you have the threat of Japan got to the front and just kind of ran this over. Yes, he swerves there, but if he does get drafted there, I mean, Japan is going to be in a good spot. We already see Mine taking over first right here, and it's a 1-3 right now for Japan. A nice back spam. This is what I want to see more of. Be a little more aggressive in this back spam. Someone hit it in 8, was not expecting it, especially if it's a Team Japan member. Really good snipes coming in, but still 1-3 right now for Japan. And this is the kind of aggro that I want to see from Mike and the rest of Team LTA. Be more aggressive with your items in general. Obviously, you want to stay a little bit safe so you don't get redded, but really good bomb coming in to protect Mike.
Yeah, that bomb was amazing, but unfortunately getting taken out by that back green. Does have a shrimp to kind of propel him up, but we're going to see a Japan top 2 as we see Typing Uretti breaking away here. But really good bomb snipe by, I believe it was Gomez, to protect Mike, as he was definitely looking doomed with that red. Another bomb snipe by Gomez as he gets Uretti there. And we're going to see a 2-3 from LTA coming out, man. All they need is a blue shell. And a shot would be nice, too. As we see Jaggy in last place, looking to get that here. Still going backwards, but we're going to see a 2-4-5 from Team LTA right now. Gonna need to see a blue shell coming up. LTA wants a chance to take over this first place.
Man, I have to say it, by the way, Type is just so good. He's always at the front, no matter the circumstance. By the way, shock coming out for Japan. Japan gonna be able to lock down, it looks like, top 3 with 2 people dodging and Type keeping first, it looks like. This is gonna be a really rough one.
Ooh, rare.
Oh no, and yeah, we're definitely gonna be seeing. We see Egu up there, but I think the rest of them are just Japan members. Uretti looking like he's out of the race, but not a huge deal as the rest of his teammates are in that top 3 spot. We see a Funky Head spinning out in 4th or 3rd place, and gonna see if they're gonna be able to do anything here. But we're gonna see 5-6 from LTA. A little bit of maybe a possible trolling coming out from Sebas as Mike has to readjust his wheelie multiple times, trying to avoid him. So. But I don't think it would have made a difference there, as really end of lap 3 and everybody had pretty much crossed the line. So maybe possible trolling though. Maybe there was something else that Sebastian did that race that could have set off another penalty.
See,
we don't really know.
It was just a really just kind of, it looked like a brain fart from Sebas, just so desiring that 9th place to try to squeak out points that he's just kind of driving along with everyone else around him. So. I didn't actually get a good look at where everyone else was on the minimap, so it'll be interesting to see if it was a situation where he did have any sort of disruption on the players. But if not, I mean, a great race coming in for Team Japan.
Yeah, overall kind of ran that, just kind of the whole thing. No blue shells really coming out for them, so overall, really strong race by Team Japan. Not really surprising. We've kind of seen them in the front the whole time. So, and move you really front heavy, as the only way to really catch up to people is through that the first bit before the boost pad. So, really good on Team Japan to play that well. And we're gonna see a BC3 pick coming out from Team LTA and a TF pick.
Yeah, we saw BC3 being really kind of the turning point, or at least the saving grace for Team LTA in the first GP of last war. And TF, it ends up getting picked here. And last time we did see LTA locking down the top spots for the majority of the race, but a nice dodge coming in from Japan late in the race ended up putting it back in their favor and giving them the lead going into the last race. So I'll be interested to see kind of how each team's adjust on this course from the last war.
Yeah, and you know, kind of LTA's role here, the job that they need to do is get up to the front super fast. I'm surprised Mike did not take that TC from Lewis. He was really right next to him. If I were Mike, I'm trying to get rid of the star immediately and trying to get up there because we do see a 3-4-5 from LTA, but top 2 from Japan. So actually, now that we're in 4th place, I think it's maybe better off for Mike to hold this and try to let Jackie get that shock in 9th. I think we see one of the baggers actually had Bill, as we see Sebastian going backwards, falling off into the water. And Jackie going to be spamming all the boxes he can in 9th, trying to get shock here. And it would be huge if LTA was able to get the shock, because Mike, with this star in 3rd, would be ginormous if he dodged and would get a pretty much free first at this point. But we do see Jackie going back, possibly with the Bill, looking to fall off here, and Sebastian maybe getting the shot here for them instead. And we're going to see some LTA members back here. Type actually getting TC'd. Next staying 6, 5-6 for Team LTA. Bottom 2 for Japan. So it's looking pretty decent for Team LTA right now. But Japan still running with a pretty big top 2 lead. Kind of exerting their dominance, saying, oh, we're no pressure at all. We're just going to run this, no problem. But you ready? Going to be having to use the star. Oh, actually getting taken out by Edu right there. And Mike still with the star in 3rd, hoping that Jag can get the shock. But yeah, again, kind of just relying on the bagger to get the shock so that they can win the race. And, you know, the runners need to just kind of get up there and do the best they can.
It does not look like anyone has the shock, as it looks like Sebas is hitting Jaggy over and over with the star. And you're ready having to use it at this point. No longer a reason to hold it, but it looks like Sebastian's running away. Gets him at the very end of it.
And yeah, Sebastian getting the shock there. It looks like it's going to be... Is that a top 4 for Team Japan? Oh,
where is
goodness.
Mike? I think that was a 2-3-4 actually.
2-3-4? Mike getting
He did
first,
have the star in 3rd.
Yeah,
I can't imagine him dropping all the way back there.
It?
So we'll see where Mike ended up.
Wait, did Mike get first?
I really think he was. I can't imagine him going from 3rd with the star all the way to the back there. I think he had to have been first. And there he is. So 2, 3, 4, 6
yeah,
coming in
see him
for
at
Japan.
all. Yeah,
so
wow.
Still a good race, but you lose out on your top 2, which is really unfortunate. But again, you know, they felt the need to have you ready, gain as many spots, and maybe overall it's still worth it. So I think, you know, however is more comfortable for you. I don't know the math off the top of my head, but it was, I mean, it's fairly even overall in the point distribution there. Just from how far you're ready caught up, he went from dead 8th all the way to 4th. So overall, really good.
I think with this lead now, 36 points, absolutely within reason to come back from. But after 6 races and Japan slowly taking the edge over and over again, we're looking at another war like last, where LTA really needs to get it together and find those big races that allow them to come back and get back in it. And then at the end, they need to be able to close it out, even if they do have that lead, right? They can't get all the way to the end with the lead and then concede it. So this will be really interesting to see if this war, which is kind of mirroring the war previous to this one, if it'll work out in a different way. Because this is the end of the line for LTA, right? This is do or die, out of the bracket, out of the tournament if they drop this one. And you know, no more chances, no more group stage, no more matches. This is it.
Yeah, definitely agree with what you say 100%, Aiden. These guys need to get it together here. You know, they had a really strong comeback in the last war, and honestly, I thought the momentum would kind of continue off of that, and that they'd be playing a lot better. But Japan exerting dominance as they've been doing kind of the whole time. Even when they fall behind and lose a couple of races, they come right back and they're in your face. that's kind of what Japan's all about. They play aggressively. They play, as you said before, textbook, kind of always being in the front. And, you know, it's kind of what LTA is lacking a little bit, that front presence. But not this race, as we see Gomez in first and Mike in third. So looking to break away here on RBC, which I preferably say is a really strong running track for these.
And a little bit of a miscommunication there. Mike went for a backspin, but ended up blocking the red that was going to be going for Uretti. So drops down now to 1-4. The bagging battle's pretty even, but he does have a mega, so this is a pretty good spot overall for Mike, and Uretti's trying to shimmin away. And now a 2-3-4 coming in for Japan, as Mine Golden's all the way up to 4th. And right now, you're kind of sitting pretty here if you're Japan, but I think, Mike, if you're here, not with that 5th, maybe you can hold this. I was going to say, if that 5th doesn't happen and you're still 5th, you want to use that mega and really just go through the cut. You get back into like top 2. A nice reaction there coming in from Mike to be able to avoid the green by using it. And a shot coming in for Team LTA. And Edu has the bill. So what will be a top 3 here for LTA going into the last lap. So this is exactly what they need right now. And as I say that, Japan pulls a blue immediately, so Gomez is going to get hit by that, dropping them down to just the top 2. Japan able to hold the middle spots. They need to do something here to actually catch back up on this race, or at least mitigate the damage from what seemed to be a very strong shot coming in for LTA. Top 2-5, a nice fib coming in for Japan. Mike has to roll forward a little bit to make sure that he doesn't get thwomped. And now Japan kind of inching their way back into this race. And a couple people stopping there for boxes. And I don't know if that's the sign that someone has the shock, but Jaggy is driving forward, and I don't know where Sebastian is on the map. A great pull coming in from Mike, shrooming up, triple shrooms in 5th, getting himself back in here, and I think this is now 1-3 for Japan. And what seemed like it could have been a disaster is a really good now top 2, and it looks like that was a Japan shock maybe, as Mike was just predicting as everyone else goes over. And a single red, typically not very good, but is this a top 4 for Japan?
It looks like LTA had one top spot there, so it ended up working out, you know, not well for them. I'm not going to say that was a good race by any means, but at least it wasn't as bad as we thought. At least you can still come back from this sort of situation. But Japan tacking on another solid positive race, and that one's gotta hurt. Mike also in a rough spot there, I might add. He did get shocked before boxes. He had the right idea to stop before last set, and his pull just not in his favor at all. A single red that far back in about 6th place, I think. 6th place, I think his box was. It was
6th place. 2 of the LT members got shocked over the ramp and into the lava. So good thing Gomez there holding on to 1st. So able to mitigate the damage from that second shot coming in for Japan, and just overall great play. I was harping on Japan's mid-pack performance, but they played that to perfection. Great snipes coming in, being able to maintain their positions even with backspam coming in. The POW on the spiral putting so many items there, or the shock on the spiral putting so many items there, that ended up hurting Mike a little bit more, but still granting them top 3. And then Japan just picked them apart, pulling the blue shell. And then the fib snipe on a Mike, and then I think they did hit Edu out of there as well with a green snipe. So really solid mid-pack performance there from Japan in that race.
I gotta be honest, the way Japan is starting to play is it's kind of living up to their expectations as the first seed of the tournament.
It's frightening.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Like these are the pieces that I'm seeing now where it's like, oh, Japan like can win the whole thing, and I wonder with, you know, if they continue to pull away, it kind of reminds me about how I started to feel against UK again when we watched them play against Norway, where it was kind of this situation. Norway, this powerhouse team, expected to do really well. Just kind of faltered against the UK. Like, UK stopped them in their tracks and not only beat them, but beat them by a wide margin. And now Japan starting to kind of replicate something like that. Even LTA, a strong team in their own right, and a team a lot of people expected to get pretty far, now starting to flounder. And Japan, honestly, the past 2 races, I feel like Japan has played the game like perfectly.
Mike not going for double there, opting to avoid any sort of potential bumps coming in. I really think he had the space to do it, and because of that he concedes 2 spots now, at least 1 to his team and 1 to type. So 1-3-4 now for LTA, which is still a really great spot to be in, but I think a top 2-4 feels a lot better. So I think we'll have to see if Mike decides to go for it here. And a starting pit for Uretti, so really powerful position that he's in. And it looks like Sebastian's driving forward now. I don't know if he got it in 9th, but it looks like Jaggy made backwards strat there. And a fib on the cut, he's going to have to use a star. Good call. A 2-3 now. This might be a cannon dodge for Team Japan if they have it, but I can't tell based off Jaggy driving backwards here and Sebas driving forward, but he's just sitting at the cannon right now. There it is. So it is Team Japan. So
yeah, I'm curious.
This is going to be a comfortable top 2 right now for Team Japan. Let's see if they can hold on to it. LTA's got to start making plays because you are not in a position to be able to start losing any more races down 47 right now.
Yeah, they definitely need something to come back here. Gonna need more than just one blue as we see a breakaway from Team Japan right here. You know, unfortunately, Jaggy making the glitch backwards, but Sebas immediately getting the shock in 9th, and it looks like kind of devastating Team LTA's hopes as we're gonna see at least a top 2 from Team Japan.
Oh no!
And an 8th from Mike.
Bottom 3.
Oh, bottom 3! Bottom 3 for Team LTA, and it is not looking good right now, as something had to have happened.
This is what kind of
looks like it was a
GP1 was all nice and friendly. GP2, Japan has taken the trash bag and the shovel out of the back of their car, and it's looking like a much darker scenario for Latin America. This is going very poorly at this point, and I think a deficit of like -60 now going into this last GP. So LTA can't just win races by like 5, 8 points. They need to win by large margins here, and this is looking like a really tough battle for them to win now.
Yeah, I think some 5 runs might have to start coming out. Maybe even race 2-ish. We're seeing a pretty large deficit right now, and gonna need a lot of big risks to be taken by Team LTA. A lot of big plays to happen, and I think a little bit of luck on their side also is a kind of a big factor that needs to happen for them. So, gonna see if they can pull it off. I believe in them. I believe in the comeback. The underdog story. I kind of am a fan.
Oh,
of that,
absolutely none. I would never accuse you of rooting for Team LTA.
No bias.
But they have a mountain to climb right now, and Japan does not look like they're slowing down. So Japan kind of with that stranglehold. Very scary to see. This is where I was worried about kind of the mentality of Team LTA. It's really hard to tell. It's not like they're making any, major mistakes that we're seeing. In fact, they're playing very safe with a lot of it. And I think that they're not in a position where they can just play safe. They need to start capitalizing. They have their backs up against the walls right now, and they actually need to start making some pretty big plays here immediately.
Man, I think, as I was saying before, just need some big plays right now from Team LTA. I don't know. I feel like luck tracks could be really beneficial in their favor. I feel like they know how to play them better than Team Japan. Team Japan, they're kind of focused on just staying in the front, and I feel like luck tracks are the tracks to pick to kind of break up that momentum, to break up that rhythm that they have. And but we're gonna see DDR kind of play. Maybe some pride going into it, being like, oh, we're good enough, we're capable to play these skill tracks. But us in Nightfall, all pride is just tossed aside as we pick Luigi Circuit, we pick Raceway, we pick all those tracks. But for now, we're on DDR, which pretty strong running track as long as you get shrooms for that shortcut. But Mike, unfortunately, getting taken out of that first place as Azmag bullying him. Literally said, "Get out of my way. I want the first place. Let me drive normally." And gonna see Mike taking the second place, but we're gonna see a lot of people most likely taking the cut here, as we see Nact also coming up. But we do see 2 people taking the full cut,
and
seeing if they can take over.
Japan really good here for LTA, actually just powing at the wall glitch section. can be really strong, and that's where we're seeing a target POW on first. So Azmac probably getting a little thrown off there a little bit, and we'll see if LTA can start capitalizing a little bit more. And Mike slowing down, trying to get that golden for that big boy cut that you had mentioned earlier. Triple Shrooms can get the job done, but I can't imagine him holding on to this. I think he changed these in 7th. It looks like he's shrooming a little bit here to get rid of him, and a bomb coming in from Mine.
Oh!
And time collateral damage.
No, Mike! Mike looking like he's out of this race, spamming that golden, but maybe could have held it for the ultra, would have maybe caught him up more, but bottom 2 just kind of out of this race. Gomez actually in first place, taking over, but it definitely looks like bottom 2, at least Mike is out of the race, but a red going for your ready,
and
breaking it with a really nice play, but gets blued immediately! Wow, that was definitely an LTA, I mean a Japan blue, I would think, to get Gomez out of first. But instead gets you ready after making the wall glitch, and we're seeing, I feel like it's a top 2-4 right now for Team LTA, and top 2-4-5. Oh my god, and LTA but a shot comes in tight, passing Mike at least, so possibly a top 2-4-6 for LTA, as wow, a misplay / miscommunication, like unfortunately passing Gomez there for a split second, gets you ready blued. Jesus, this is just kind of the commotion
that race was honestly insane, and an unfortunate, like, an example of how brutal Mario Kart can be sometimes, because I think Reddy there literally did such a smart thing. Like, he took this difficult to do line to break a red on just a difficult to manage corner. Like that situation there is often, even though if you're really fast, like a red will often catch up with you there because it doesn't break on the wall around wall glitch. He manages to break it, gets caught in the blue, and then LTA turns it into their race somehow. And it's just something I didn't expect, because, you know, if you were looking at that race from a lap 2 perspective, Japan was just pulling away. Like, Mike lost his top spot almost immediately. Japan's lines really shining through at the beginning, and then against all odds, even with Mike like getting hit and being as far back as he was, like honestly being on the receiving end of some terrible luck, LTA claws their way back into that one. Honestly, a really good race for LTA. And we'll check the points on that one. That's going to be a 19-point swing in their favor. Still down 55 with 3 to go. A big margin, but if they can lock down 3 more races like that, then this is doable for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Type falls off in first again, but you know, what ended up being, what seemed to be a good situation for Japan ended up being, I think it was another top 3 for LTA, or at least like a top 2, 4, 5 the last time that we were here. And this is one of those tracks that I said, once LTA can take one race convincingly from Japan and force Japan to pick reset tracks like this, as we see Knack fall off, this is the situation that I think LTA shines and does better than Team Japan. And the red unfortunately does catch Mike, and Type passes him a TC. And we're in not a great position here for LTA, but at least the star is thrown out there from Azu. So not a horrible spot to be in, but still low on spots in general from LTA. Gomez is the only spot up there, and a great pull here from Mike as he runs into the Penguin, and his force fusing gets redded.
Oh no. Mike getting taken out by that red shell, and also unfortunately hitting the Penguin, as you said. Gomez kind of being the lone wolf up here for Team LTA. The blue getting thrown out by Mike, so maybe Gomez in second place, able to take over that first. But it looks not to be the case, as we do see Gomez actually still in 4th place. In Japan, top 3, looking pretty strong right now, but we do see a close pack. Mike with the bill. Jackie going to be spamming boxes in 9, trying to get this shock, and knowing that Mike has this dodge, but actually Jackie's still going backwards, so trying to get... he's too far back from Sebastian, I would think. I think the play here is to just kind of spam boxes in 9th and hope you get it.
The other point is we don't see Jaggy using any items, so he could just be driving backwards to try to prevent them from thinking that he has it. But now we see him stopping. Less likely that is the case, but he is driving forward now, so it looks like LTA is in first with Gomez, so it may be dropping a star, and now Azmac takes it back over. So it looks like maybe Jaggy is holding a star in his inventory to drop for Team LTA. As it looks like he's going pretty quick now and maybe shrooming away there a little bit. So is this going to be a shot coming in for Japan? No shock happening. Mike is billing up, and this might be a dodge here coming in for Mike. But is it too little too late? 1-3-5 maybe?
Yeah, I believe it's still a winning race for Japan.
I think Japan, in that situation, right, they're operating with the understanding, like, I think where a lot of worse teams would say, don't use it because Mike's in a bill, Japan understands that conceding second in that situation is an overall net win if one of their teammates is dodging and another one of their teammates is getting, like, fourth and they already have first. Like, it's that quick team-based decision-making there where you understand that you can sacrifice something like second to get 3-4, and that lets you make those sort of decisions, and that's what you need as a top team. That's going to be a really solid race coming out from them, and I think that honestly might be it.
Was that a Japan or an LTA?
I think that was, it had to be a Japan shock, right?
Well, I don't know, because Mike used the bill, and they were kind of hesitating a little bit, maybe saying that, oh, you already used the Mega, so they didn't want a shock there. If it was an LTA shock, I think it was best for them to call it immediately to get that first place, because you already ended up dodging.
I feel like I have to. My read on the situation was because of how late the shock was. Because if you were LTA, you had to use it so much earlier if you wanted that to be a good race.
Absolutely. I think that had to have been a Japan shock. I wasn't paying attention to the minimap to see if a bagger ended up spinning out, but it definitely that was a very ideal shock for Team Japan there. Because no matter what, Mike is going to get that second place. I mean, you're not going to shock him out and still dodge your ready. So no matter what, he's guaranteed second. So that shock at that timing worked wonders for Japan and being able to actually keep you ready to hold on to third and then have the rest of Team Japan go 6-7, I think was the other spots that they had.
So, just to contextualize this a bit more, we have 2 races to go. BCW going to be a really solid track for Japan since it's going to favor their front-running presence and their excellent execution in lines. Japan now up by 68 with 2 to go. And at that point, with that score deficit, LTA can win. It's possible, but boy, is it difficult. And this race is really the make or break, because if they don't win this race by a margin of like 25 or more, I think it's just over.
Yeah, definitely 100%. And not really sure if Jaggy is too well known for his running ability. Yeah, possibly could have subbed me in even. No, I'm just kidding, 100%. But no, they're gonna need to get a really good race here. Already a top 3 from Japan just running, and Mike needing to use his ability to catch up here in that second place. Gonna need to see a lot more from Team LTA out here to get these top spots to get them back in this war, because as of now, it's looking pretty rough. Mike being kind of that lone wolf up here for LTA, as he's kind of been throughout the whole thing. But actually, I'm not even gonna say that, because we've seen Nact actually up here a lot as well, being the lone wolf. Even Gomez as well. We saw Gomez on DDR being like the only one in first. So unfortunately for LTA, they're rotating kind of that one person that stays in the front, but they're not all up there at the same time, which is what they need right now.
Yeah, well, Japan, I have to say, with sorry, a little dog action on the mic right now.
We see the Doge coming out, a star getting bombed out of your ready, and a bomb 2 for Team Japan. That Doge was actually hilarious. But top 2 for Team Japan right now. Coming out strong. Aiden might want to mute his mic here. Team Japan still looking really strong in this top 2, and we see Mike, threatening in this third, but we do see a breakaway from Team Japan. I don't think a shock is gonna come out from Team LTA's. They're 5 running. Kind of hard to see a shock come out here. But even in 9th, it's kind of rare to see it in 5 runs. So that's kind of their only hope, and it kind of seems like they're
yeah, this does
they're not
seem to
looking
be
too hot right
curtains
now
here for LTA at this point. just having Japan top 2 crossing here and the shot coming in, and you're ready, definitely dodging there. And mine as well. So top 3. I mean, that's the risk
the dagger, I think.
You're going to have to deal with when you put in a 5-run strategy, when you put yourself this far behind. I mean, this is the risk that you're running of, they're going to get access to free boxes in 10th constantly. And Sabas even getting 9th place there. So running the whole time once he got shotgun, was able to keep up and able to actually put a point on the board for him. Unfortunately, only passing you're ready. So really not a big difference there, but top 3 closes the match here, pending some crazy troll penalty coming in, and then still a huge race coming in for LTA. So it looks like Japan is going to be able to hold on to this one. Really well played overall. Solid gameplay, really great running from them across the board in both of these matches. Japan has controlled the front for the vast majority, and the times that LTA is able to get up into the front and hold on to it, they were successful, but they struggled so much to get up there and actually just be able to hold on to that spot for more than just a few seconds, because Japan was always just bumping them the whole way and moving them out of the way, and you needed on the Team Japan screens to have LTA members in front of them to start actually being able to pressure them, because other than that, the connection difference there could still be that on Team Japan screens they might be slightly in front, so they're still able to start gaining that lead on their own screen and ultimately push LTA around on their own. So overall, really solid gameplay across the board coming in for Team Japan. Well under
just don't see in other competitive games or esports, if you will, especially for those less familiar with the scene. In this lobby right now, we have 5 players from Japan, a player who's living in the Dominican Republic, a player from Chile, players from all over the US, and that's who's playing in this lobby together and against each other. And I think this is just one of those rare games that allows you to do that. A truly international community for a truly international tournament, of course. And, and we get to send it off on possibly the cheesiest track of them all, Nightfall's go-to, arguably. Mike finding himself with a little bomb in first place, looking pretty nice.
Yeah, Mike's looking really comfortable right now. Like Wally said before, I think the only hope for Team LTA is a troll penalty. I can't even be mad. As captain of LTA, I can't even be mad. I think Japan played really well. Mike kind of letting his bomb drop, and it gets Elu in the process, and it seems like they have just kind of given up overall as a team, unfortunately. I think, as a team, we played really well. Kind of gave it our best, and, overall, it's a great showing from the guys. We scrimmed a lot, we practiced together, tried to get the chemistry, but overall, it just didn't work out in the end, and Japan played better. Japan, really strong team. Got to give them their props as they top 4 this last race on Luigi's circuit. And yeah, Japan, man, Japan killing it, always in the front, and really showing their dominance. They showed we're here to play, and we want to take this World Cup in general. So good on Japan. Sad for LTA, as
but no bias,
LTA
but no
fan
bias
coming
at
out
all.
as the captain, but. No bias at all. No bias at all. But what can you do? Really well played by Japan. I gotta give them their props. Big respect, as